Well, why wouldn't you want to invest in Chilliwack? Look at the positive growth we've had in the past couple, 3 years. We do have the lowest tax base, business and personal. On a larger scale, we do have the industrial revitalization tax, which is based on a sliding scale to attract the bigger companies like the Molsons and what's on our doorstep. We have the lowest taxes. We have the fastest turnaround time at City Hall compared to other communities. We as a City Hall, we try to make things as quick and efficient as possible for folks who want to come in to Chilliwack. I was talking to a realtor here a couple of days ago, and before we endeavored to go down the 1881 path, the downtown wasn't really a place to invest. Now there's no place to invest downtown because it's become so popular. So again, back to the same thing I said before, why wouldn't you want to invest in Chilliwack?
One of the challenges that Chilliwack has faced over the decades is we have a very large footprint geographically, but we have a very compact urban containment zone. This was solidified in the 1970s with the introduction of the Agricultural Land Reserve, and has limited Chilliwack's ability to grow, not only for residential, but in most particular, our industrial land base. We've faced those challenges now for 50 years. I am in favor of the urban containment zone, but as we grow and move forward, we're going to have to look at attracting businesses that are going to provide employment by the hectare. And this is going to be largely focused on STEM business opportunities. That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So the importance of having a solid education in our school system is going to be vital to how we proceed in the future.
I'd like to make sure we're building lots of businesses in our community. I come from the technology sector. I'd like to make sure we're building that, whether it be through organic growth of new businesses or building them out of the university. We have a great university locally here. We can be starting new businesses out of there and creating wealth for the community that way. That's definitely a passion of mine. I also want to make sure we're attracting and retaining businesses. So retaining the businesses that are here. I think tourism is doing a great job of marketing Chilliwack as a great place to live. We've got local down my part of town, Banter Ice Cream recently moved from Abbotsford to Chilliwack. Who else can you bring to town here to bring their new ideas and expand their businesses in Chilliwack, what we have here to offer?
Well, first of all, let me preface my answer by going back a few years. A few years ago with the past mayor, I was part of a committee that the city formed to meet and engage and invite large-scale business, small-scale businesses and industry into our city. What was interesting for me in that meeting is that the executives and the presidents and the investors that did come to our city, what they were most interested in were just a few things that they wanted more detail, and they almost wanted a show and tell. They wanted to know about taxes, but not just taxes. They wanted to know about public safety. Would their people, would their families all be safe in our community? What was interesting in what the corporations and the businesses wanted when they viewed Chilliwack as a potential candidate to set up in, they wanted to know about public safety. They wanted to know about our hospitals. They wanted to know about our parks and recreation. They wanted to know about affordable housing. They wanted to know about our taxes. And that for me really gives me a template and a blueprint as to what to pay attention to as we look to attract not only families but businesses into the city of Chilliwack. These are the areas we have to keep an eye on.
That's a great question. While it might not seem like the most savvy response, I believe that one of the ways that we can grow a strong economy is to ensure that nobody gets left behind with our rental housing. There's a huge gap in inventory right now of stable, affordable, and plentiful rental properties available. This is creating a lot of challenges for more vulnerable members in our community who are marginalized by lower incomes, fixed incomes, our seniors, and our students. We have to ensure that that workforce is able to stay in Chilliwack and that we don't lose our youth to more affordable places to live. I also think that it's really important that our infrastructure keeps up with our growth and that we have a reliable transportation network. And lastly, I think it's very important that our business citizens and our business advocacy groups have clear lines of communication to the city so that we can keep up with that growth.
You know, we're really fortunate to live in a community that lives within its means. We have a downtown revitalization and industrial revitalization tax exemption in order to attract businesses into our community. Since I've been on council, we've been very fortunate that we've attracted some pretty big players within our communities. Ritchie Brothers, Langley Concrete, Prairie Coast Equipment, Pacific Dairy, Molson Coors. And when we think of Molson Coors, I'll use that as an example, that's $1 million of tax revenue to the city that we don't have to drum up from a residential taxation point. So we have to work hard to ensure that this community maintains that overall status of being a place where we welcome business and we want business in our community.
Well, I think the most effective way we can do that is by keeping our property taxes low. Property taxes are an expense for every business, and keeping property taxes low gives our local businesses a competitive advantage over other businesses in other cities. Another way we can do that is by encouraging the downtown revitalization program, the industrial revitalization program, where businesses come to your town and invest in them and then get some sort of tax breaks over the next 5 years. And I think the final thing we can do is keep permit times fast so that when you're expecting a building permit for things, you have a turnaround time of about 5 weeks or less.
Chilliwack does a fantastic job processing all of the applications for redevelopment and variances and rezoning because it's growing by leaps and bounds. And I know from firsthand experience that Chilliwack has a reputation in the whole valley of being efficient, a good place to do business, and processing things very efficiently. But I would make sure that that would continue and improve. In fact, a project I'm working on right now, which is redeveloping the United Church downtown into affordable housing, is taking longer than we thought. And I really wonder what are the delays. And so I share concerns of other developers about what are those delays. I'd love to see that be even more efficient, even more streamlined, and even better communicated.
So as a local government, we can't directly subsidize business, but we can help out in other ways. There are some great partner organizations in Chilliwack. There's SEPCO, there's BIA, there's the Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Chilliwack that can provide resources, information, and guidance to any size or type of business. Countless times I've spoken with business owners that struggle through issues that could have been easily solved with a simple phone call to one of these partner organizations. I can't stress enough how important it is for business to utilize these great agencies. As far as the city directly, business cannot be tied up in red tape and delays, so City Hall staff must provide top-notch service and quick turnaround times. Chilliwack has always been known as business friendly, and we need to constantly work at it so that never changes. Finally, we need to keep up with infrastructure, such as roadways, parking, sidewalks, and bike paths that are fully accessible by all. Our streets should be clean and safe for all to use, and transit needs to continually evolve and expand as neighborhoods grow.
Without having first knowledge of what the city plan is now, if I'm elected, we need to go through this plan thoroughly, because investing in Chilliwack is a big ordeal for a lot of people, uprooting their current businesses. For instance, Molson's left Vancouver, came to Chilliwack, they found it attractive. Our industrial section is growing immensely along the side of the freeway. We have new businesses coming in all the time. Our streets, where these businesses are going, have to feel safe for these new owners. Our emergency plans, our policing, our fire department, all that is part of the big picture. So if we can continue and even do better on the path we're on now, I think it's always going to be a great place to invest your business here in Chilliwack.
Well, you know what, I think it comes down to thoughtful and responsible development, ensuring that our developers are developing properly. And having a long-range plan that fits in the goals of our community, in the sense that where do we want to be in 10 years, making sure that our zoning isn't cemented in, and that we're actually looking at it as a living document, so that we can change zoning to fit with our plans. And honestly, most importantly, we need to talk to businesses. We need to know what's worked, what hasn't worked, what can we do better, what is your neighborhood like, what would you like to see in your neighborhood, what would help you thrive. And if we do all of those things, I think we're going to end up in a good place.
So one of the main points on my campaign is that I want to make Chilliwack, and continue to make Chilliwack, a great place to work and live and to do business. So my husband Brad and I, we have been involved in the business community and had many local businesses, and we know how important it is to rely on the locals to support our business. For the last few years, as GM of Community Futures South Fraser, I've had the opportunity to work with lots of local businesses and to work in partnership with the Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation, the Chamber of Commerce, the Downtown Chilliwack BIA, as well as Tourism Chilliwack. And with these partnerships, we have been able to inject millions of dollars into our local business community. It helps to build the long-term sustainability of Chilliwack. This strategic business focus is what I plan to bring to City Council to help create a vibrant and healthy community.
I pride myself on being a big supporter of our Economic Development Office, the Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation. I'm a past director with SEPCO when I was the president of the Chamber of Commerce. What's really important is to set the table for making a community business friendly. That means thinking about the things employers are looking at when they're trying to attract employees. It means building the kind of infrastructure in the communities that people want to live in. It means going out and actually meeting with potential investors and people who are wanting to relocate to Chilliwack. But it also means looking at homegrown opportunities. How do you support entrepreneurs? How do you support small local businesses here in Chilliwack? And how do you make the community into a place where people want to invest, but also start businesses? It means that at the City of Chilliwack, we need to move permits and business applications through as quick as possible, remove red tape when we can. And it also means just getting out there as a city councillor and setting an example. I'm a small business owner and an entrepreneur. I have been for 14 years. And so I know what it's like to struggle day in and day out when you're starting, owning, and operating a business.